Topping today's news, employees at Bahamas Power and Light in the dark about their future, Inland Revenue turning up the heat on those owing real property tax, and the courts cracking down on people who sign for bail and the accused breaches that bail. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jcn. This is your JCN Evening News, and it is a pleasure to have you join us. Employees at Bahamas Power and Light, they are set to hold a special call meeting this evening at BCPOU Hall, and the agenda, issues affecting employment, including rumors that BPL is in the process of being privatized. Bahamas Electrical Workers Union President Kyle Wilson told a ZNS radio talk show host on Thursday that his members are in a state of panic and they are in a state of fear as a result. Wilson said the staff, they are frustrated because they feel as if everyone knows what's going on with BPL except them. Mr. Wilson said last week in a meeting, the government gave the union leaders a presentation on where the current administration wishes to go with BPL. He said it left him with more questions than answers. There is talk about the Davis administration planning to possibly enter into a public-private partnership with local and foreign experts to manage the transmission, distribution, and generation of electricity at Bahamas Power and Light. Members of the media are hoping to get clarification from the Minister of Energy and Transport, Jobeth Kobe Davis. After issuing warnings in the paper last Thursday, the Department of Inland Revenue Acting Controller Shonda Strawn sought to provide further clarity and information about executing the power of sale that the department wields to retrieve arrears owed to the government for real property tax. The acting controller revealed some numbers where the government expects to collect some $195 million in real property tax revenue, with $95 million collected as of the end of February this year. She details the department's strategy to collect the remaining $100 million through the power of sale.
Our department issued a notification of power of sale on more than 108 accounts, or 108 accounts, I should say. 77 of those are classified as vacant land or properties without any improvement, and 41 of those are classified as commercial properties. Power of sale, or the authority for us to exercise power of sale, is found in Section 25A of the Real Property Tax Act. And that provision allows us to recover real property taxes from all property classifications except those that are Bahamian-owned, owner-occupied properties. And on any Bahamian-owned, owner-occupied property that is in arrears for more than 7 months from the due date. What is the due date? The due date is March 31st of every tax year. So March 31st, the property taxes for this current 2024 tax year are due, become due.
Ms. Strawn goes on to explain that the 2023 tax bills were issued in October and were due by March of 2023, warning that those who've not paid are in arrears for more than 7 months. Once again, she reiterates that if your property is not Bahamian owner-occupied or Bahamian owner-occupied, it could very well fall into the category of properties that are eligible for power of sale.
Again, our authority falls in under Section 25A of the Real Property Tax Act, and it really covers all properties that are not owner-occupied properties. So that bears keeping in mind. So we've done the advertisement, and what happens next is what everybody's asking. The next thing is those property owners have been notified. So if they own properties, they've been notified, they've been given their 30 days notice, and so they have a 30-day span to come in and to pay off their account. There are no payment plans, there are no more amnesties, all of those things are passed, and now we're seeking to recover the full tax amount that is due on those accounts that are listed in the power of sale notice. So again, property owners still have time. They have the next 30 days to come in and pay off those accounts.
For those of you that may be interested in bidding on properties that are up for sale by Inland Revenue, the department is now open to receive your bids up until April the 2nd of this year. And if you're interested, you can go online at Inland Revenue to get more information on how you can bid. Opposition leader Michael Pintard is pushing the government to call off its alleged $25 million agreement with cargo management company JDL. Thursday, at the office of the leader of the opposition, Mr. Pintard voiced his concerns, urging the government to speak to the arrangement he is calling illegal.
And we were under the impression that the government had proceeded to cancel what we saw as a most inappropriate arrangement with a private firm who they did not go through a competitive bidding process to select. But even more importantly, they are imposing an additional tax excuse me, on Bahamians. And so we're concerned that they could very well be breaking the law with respect to the application of this new tax. Now we have a memo from the company in question that strongly suggests that this illegal or inappropriate arrangement that the government has established is likely to be continuing, and we're very much concerned.
Mr. Pintard is asking the Davis administration to clarify the nature of its agreement with JDL and how the new mandatory customs tax, in addition to value-added tax and shipping costs, will be levied.
One is, we wanted the government to say under what legal authority were they entering into what we see, what the public sees, what the business persons who will be subjected to this additional tax, would they see as a tax. This is the government who said that they won't tax. We've seen several before. And then secondly, we wanted to clearly understand the logistics on how this was going to be executed. First of all, we don't believe that it is appropriate. But even if this hard-headed government is minded to proceed, to what extent is this going to be properly managed so that the security of items moving cross-border is not compromised? And
in December of 2023, it was revealed that JDL, the contract, was never tendered, nor was a request for proposal filed. Mr. Pintard states the government must be held accountable for an agreement that can potentially saddle Bahamians with exorbitant fees, making importing goods more difficult. And finally, in this segment, after a string of fatal shootings claiming the lives of juveniles, leader of the opposition, Michael Pintard, is recommitting the Free National Movement to organizing anti-crime initiatives to prevent gun violence. Thursday, Mr. Pintard revealed that the Free National Movement continues to work with the government and religious organizations to create and push initiatives that help to counteract the rise in crime and its effect on young Bahamians.
The Free National Movement held yet another meeting in order to organize anti-crime initiatives across 39 constituencies. We are securing the commitment of every association to work in tandem with government agencies, the private sector, faith-based organizations, and non-governmental organizations in organizing a variety of anti-crime initiatives, which would include some constituency associations may put out public service messages for both radio, television, bulletin boards at schools, bulletin boards in the community. Others are going to have vigils where they walk through the community, interact with residents, refer counselors to families that have lost loved ones.
Mr. Pintard says the Free National Movement plans to increase their crime-fighting efforts in the country, criticizing the Davis administration for being ineffective.
We have come up with 17 possible initiatives that can be applied in the community. We believe that it's important as an organization for us to be on the front line working in addition to holding the government accountable. This administration is lost. So they are not leading on this issue in terms of coordinating stakeholders, and all of us have an obligation to get involved. And so what we are doing to try and save the lives of our children, of Bahamians, to reduce those that are being maimed or criminalized, is getting directly involved on the front line.
Mr. Pentard says the opposition, along with various government agencies and non-profit organizations, have plans to promote conflict resolution and provide resources to Bahamian communities to help put an end to gun violence. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.